Today I'm planting bananas along our northern fence line. We don't plant bananas from seed. In fact, most bananas we eat don't even have seeds inside them, or I don't know if this guy does or not. The way we plant bananas is by harvesting pups. Bananas grow in clusters. We call them clumps. As the clump forms, your original tree grows big enough and mature enough until it produces its bunch. People are often surprised to hear that each banana stalk only gives one bunch. Then it's done. We cut it down. We're done with it. And some people think, oh, what a shame. Oh, what a waste. You plant this one tree, it grows, and you cut the bunch of bananas, and then you chop the tree down. But now you know bananas grow in a clump. And when you look at a banana plant or a banana tree, don't think of it as one tree. Think of it as the clump. And think of each of these stalks as a branch. Because I cut this guy down when he's done giving fruit. That creates space for the pups to grow to maturity and continue the cycle. For that reason, when you plant bananas at home, you have to give them a lot of space. And you got to give them space in 360 degrees. Because you're going to start out with your first tree. This is the primary one you're going to plant. Well, before long, it's going to drop a pup, and that pup is going to grow into another tree. And then that's going to drop a pup, and you're going to get another tree. And then they're going to continue to drop pups and drop pups in this direction, in that direction, in that direction, in that direction. And then you will have a clump. And fortunately for us growers, bananas give more pups than they really need. In fact, even if you don't want to transplant the pups, it's a good idea to periodically come out and thin them out. Prune them away, because there's only so much nutrition available in the ground, and you don't want too many pups competing for the nutrients, or they'll stunt each other's growth. This clump, for example, I have a mature stalk, a mature stalk, a mature stalk, a fairly sizable pup here, a pup that's growing into more, I'd say, like an adolescent phase here. I've got this healthy pup here. There's another pup right here. There's another stalk that came from a pup right here. Then over on this side, we got this little guy who's just getting started. Then that brings us to our next clump where I planted an original tree, and he also has been putting out pups and new stalks and growing laterally and growing this way. And look what I found here, just as I kneeled down to show you this pup. There's another pup right here. That brand new little guy. He's just starting to grow. I was taught something by a guy I trust. He works over at the Fruit and Spice Park up the street here. He told me there's two types of pups. One is desirable, the other is not. He told me pups with a conical shape, like this guy here, where they start out wide at the bottom and they work themselves up to a point. They've got a conical shape, and they usually have one little wisp coming out, or when they start to get older, they develop a second. These are the desirable ones. So if you're going to let it grow into a mature stalk, you want to let the conical ones grow. Or if you're going to harvest for transplant, you want to harvest the conical ones. The second shape and the undesirable shape he told me to look for is more of a cylindrical, a symmetrical shaped sprout where the tip is just about equal in width to the bottom. And as opposed to just having that wispy point that comes out, you get this rabbit ear shape. He told me when you see these, just kick them over with your feet. Don't transplant them and don't let them grow in the clump. He didn't tell me why to do this. He didn't tell me how it was better. All I know is I've been doing it for 13 years and I get lots and lots of bananas. What the heck is this guy doing here? I just found an avocado seed with a double sprout coming out. So my job today is to go around and find a bunch of conical shaped pups like this guy right here and cut them free from the clump. So I'm just going to go around this little pup enough, maybe about 6 inches out. Yeah, I can already see this. I can already see the roots. Just kind of dig a little trench around it. Now I got this guy dug out enough where I've freed up these roots. You see these roots are coming out from the clump, and now I have to just separate this guy from the clump. Underneath, under the ground here, you've just got this big giant ball of, I don't know what you call it, it's just this banana material. It's just this wet, starchy, fleshy material, and then you have roots shooting out from that. So what I try to do is cut down deep enough and around the pup enough so that I harvest some of the roots, and then I also separate it from that big clump, that big giant, I don't know if it's a root ball or what the heck it is behind the ground. I'm just going to use this big chisel bar and just kind of go around and cut through into that big fleshy mass I told you about. So here you can see where I went around and got the roots with the pick, made the little trench, and then I just separated this from the clump here, and now I'm just going to kind of go in and gently and gingerly and try to get as many roots as I can and just pull this guy out. And here I've extracted a pup. It's got a bunch of roots, and then you see here that flat cut I did with the chisel. That was part of a much larger clump of this material, and I separate it, and that'll heal just fine when I get that in the ground later. And again, you see the cylindrical shape. Look, it's nice and fat at the bottom. It comes up to a nice taper, and then it has this little wisp of a leaf coming out the top. Let me go get a bunch more of these, and then I'll be back. Something that happens a lot when I'm working on bananas is I come upon stalks that are dead. This guy's, look at 1, 2 chops of the machete and he's out of the ground, and if you could smell this, it's not a good smell. We had one weekend over the winter that got really, really cold, and a lot of times you don't notice the damage to the bananas till it's too late. That guy should not pull over and drop that easy. These things are living things, they're elastic. So when I'm out here and I kind of touch one and it feels real light and it feels dry, I know to take it out so I can make room for more healthy bananas to grow. All right, I got myself 6 pups here, and as you can see, they're very healthy, very much what I was telling you I wanted. They're nice and heavy, they're juicy, you could feel there's water in there. Look at that nice color, look at the roots. Let's go get these guys in the ground. These guys are meant to go along my north-facing fence line, which is at the end of this row. This is an avocado grove behind me. These are 2 rows of avocado trees. And at the end there, if you see that brown fence, that's my north fence line. And I had to choose these bananas specifically because I need to plant tall bananas at the end of this row. The fence goes about 7 to 8 feet high. So if I plant a variety that only grows to 6 or 8 feet, it's going to try to bunch out at the top and run into the fence. Here I stand at the end of one of my rows, and I'm going to put 2 pups. I'm going to do a clump right about there, and then another clump right about there. And I'll let them grow together, and that'll give me the shade and the privacy I want to not only block out the sunlight, but to block out that camera that's inexplicably filming into my property. Bananas don't need much. They only need a little bit of a hole. And for those of you who never watched my channel before and don't know, this is what I'm digging in, limestone rock. We got about a ½ inch to an inch of soil, then 12 to 20 miles of solid limestone rock. That's why I'm out of breath right now. Just to dig even 6 inches down is a lot. Since this is the more shallow of the 2 holes I just dug, I'm going to plant one of the smaller pups in there. When you've got a shallow hole, you really want to put a smaller tree in, because by the time the tree gets bigger, you want the root system to be really well established so it doesn't get blown over or knocked over or just topple over under its own weight. So I'm just going to stick this guy in the ground. Actually, this hole is maybe a little too deep for a pup, which is good. So I'm going to put a little of the topsoil back in, kind of just flatten that out. Then just sit this guy in the hole, keep him level, and just fill in the dirt around him. Just going to push all this dirt and rock material that I dug out of the hole, just going to put it all right back in and just pack it down nice. Okay, here we have our first pup planted. We are in USDA hardiness zone 10B. Our growing zone is zone 10B. And so bananas thrive here. So I really don't have to do a lot of work with these guys. Now I'm just gonna bring in a bunch of soil, kind of mound it around this guy. There we go. Yeah. All right, get rid of this vegetable matter here. Just kind of bring all this soil around, mound him in there. Mother Nature's going to take it the rest of the way. I just realized I've been calling this my north fence. This is actually my west fence. My north fence is right there. And I've started this project in the northwest corner. So you see here, I have a clump of bananas. Then next to it, I've got Monstera deliciosa. Then another clump of bananas. And I'm gonna do that all the way down the fence line. Banana, Monstera, banana, Monstera, banana, Monstera. And that's like a two-tiered growing strategy. My ground crop is Monstera, and that'll go from clump to clump along the ground. And then my canopy crop will be the bananas. They grow up and out, and it makes for very efficient use of my land. So it's banana, Monstera, then the banana I planted, then another Monstera, then the banana I just planted, then a Monstera. And then I'll continue doing that all the way to the southwest corner of my property. And yeah, this is Monstera deliciosa, the same thing you grow as a houseplant inside your apartment or house. But what you may not know is Monstera deliciosa gets its name from the delicious fruit it grows, deliciosa, which is why I plant this stuff on every bare patch of land I have. In addition to Monstera deliciosa, I've got these rows and rows of avocado, rows and rows of mango. We have lychee, we have longan, we have mamey. And if you would like to try any or all of them fruits, go to guacfarm.com. GUACFARM.com. Now I got 4 more pups to plant, which means I have 4 more holes to dig. While I go do that, you go to guacfarm.com, and I will see you on the next video.